What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today we're talking about Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX for the current Sword and Shield through Pokemon Go standard format before Lost Origin gets plunged into our standard format and most likely shakes some things up because we have a few major events, including Baltimore Regional Championships coming up in this same format that the World Championships were played in. So we'll be talking about the idea of Urshifu VMAX, the card, and what kind of decks might be built, because I think this card is on a lot of people's minds right now. Before we do that, shout out to my sponsors, PotownStore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, and CardTrooperGames.com, where you can pre-order Pokemon TCG products at a very fair price. Use code Celio for 5% off at both of those sites. Also check out PokemonCard.io for viewing, sharing, and creating your own deck lists. Beast Coast Pokemon, a collaborative Pokemon YouTube channel with none other than James Beck, the top 4 VGC finisher, and Aaron Cybertron Zhang, and Pokemon Trivia Master Chaotic Meatball. We have a lot of fun over there. Beast Coast Pokemon, give us a sub. And last but not least, Dragon Shield sleeves, my favorite type of sleeves to use for Pokemon TCG events. You can find the links and coupon codes and all that stuff in the description down below. Now let's get into talking about Rapid Strike Urshifu V Max. So, Rapid Strike Urshifu V Max actually did get second place in the seniors division at the World Championships, losing to Liam Halliburton, who was piloting Palkia V-Star and Teleon. Rapid Strike Urshifu V Max has been a card that kind of pops up after people haven't been respecting it for a little bit. When it came out, it did quite well in the online events. Alex Shemansky, I think, won 2 different player cups using Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. And then it won EUIC. It did well at regional championships, a couple of them, in different forms as well. There were some Arceus Urshifu decks. There were some mostly Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX with the Inteleon engine, though. We also saw things like Magnus Peterson's Bibarel Arceus Urshifu with Beedrill deck. That was a crazy one too. So Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, I think, is strongest after the calm, the calm before the storm, essentially, with Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, when people aren't preparing their decks, they aren't testing for it, they aren't teching for it. So this last event of this format is exactly the kind of tournament that Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX has been known to show up at when decks are not prepared for it. So let's look at a couple ways this can be built. I believe this is something that Azul GG played in an online event the other night, and I believe this is the second place list from Worlds. It looks just like it from watching the streamed match. So you guys can watch on the Pokemon TCG channel or on Twitch or on YouTube, whatever, the finals seniors match between Urshifu versus Palkia. I was watching it earlier today. It's really good for seeing kind of how the games go between these two decks. So in this deck, you'll notice that there is no energy acceleration, no Raihan, no Melanie. This is very focused around using Cheryl to fully heal your Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAXs, and you use Tower of Waters to retreat for free. So you'll swing with a Gale Thrust or a Rapid Flow, you take a hit, you Cheryl, and then you either retreat or escape rope, and then either scoop up net what you sent out, or retreat it, or scoop up net, or escape rope, any of the combinations of those. And you send the Urshifu back out to Gale Thrust again. Or you can also send out the Medicham V to Yoga Loop if you have already set up something to have 1 or 2 damage counters left of health, because Yoga Loop puts 2 damage counters on something, and if it knocks something out with that Yoga Loop, you get to take an extra turn. And this is what dreams are made of. That's really where this deck can shine and do some broken stuff. Gale Thrust, or maybe a Rapid Flow into some things, and then you take a hit, and then you Cheryl retreat into Medicham, and then you clean up one of those things you hit with Rapid Flow with the Yoga Loop, and then you take an extra turn and you Gale Thrust, then you get hit, then you Cheryl, and you do it all over again, and it can be crazy. So this deck is strong. Does it have its flaws? Yes, it's not hitting Palkia for weakness in any way. It gets pretty shut down by Jolteon Memory Capsule if you can't get rid of those EVs and Jolteons. But all in all, it's shown itself as a strong deck, and this is a little bit of a new version. It has Irida now for searching out the drizzle pieces and then whatever items you need. This is really heavily going into the Cheryl plus Tower of Waters to heal and retreat, and then Pal Pad those Cheryls back, also using Roxanne. So a little bit different, but still kind of the same old Urshifu we know. And then there's an Urshifu archetype I'm a little bit interested in. There was Arceus Urshifu with Jolteon Memory Capsule that top aided a foreign event in the Brilliant Stars metagame. And James Sims on Twitter made this list that is essentially taking the Japanese lists from Worlds, the second and third place lists, and cutting the dark stuff and the Hisuian Decidueye stuff and putting in a 2/2 Urshifu, keeping the Jolteon memory capsule line. So what exactly does this do for us, keeping the Jolteon memory capsule line in a deck like this? Or what is this deck even achieving? Let's take it from the bottom. So we have Arceus. If you guys watched my video on the world's winning deck, Arceus is the consistency and it is the efficiency of the deck. You're both consistently getting the cards you need with Starbirth, and you're doing a good chunk of damage, and you're accelerating more energy onto the board. It's just reliable, it's efficient, it's all the keywords that you want a deck to be. Flying Pikachu VMAX is going to answer Palkia by killing it in one shot. It also answers things like Regigigas and Blissey, Miltank stuff, and any base Lunatone Solrock, any basic oriented deck that Pikachu walls out with its Max Balloon. Then we have the Memory Capsule Jolteon combo, which still haven't mentioned anything that wasn't in the second and third place lists for Worlds. So far, we're still describing second and third place Worlds lists. Memory Capsule Jolteon shuts down Inteleon engines, shuts down Radiant Greninja, Palkia V-Star. Also shuts down Manaphy, which isn't relevant until we get to the Urshifu part. But between Flying Pikachu VMAX and the Jolteon Memory Capsule, you're looking pretty good against Palkia V-Star. Your deck might clunk up a little bit and you'll drop a game here and there, but overall, you should be beating Palkia V-Star if you have both a 310 HP attacker that one-shots it for 2 energy attachments with free retreat that doesn't have a significant weakness other than it getting hit by itself. And you have Jolteon Memory Capsule, which when you establish that, you might just end the game there if they can't get a Tool Scrapper or they don't play a Tool Scrapper. So then we add in Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. What is this going to help against? Well, it's going to clear our opponent's Bibarels. It's going to clear out their Drizzles. It's going to one-shot Arceus V-Stars if they don't have a Dunsparce or a Big Charm. It's also a very good attacker. In a similar way that Arceus V-Star is an efficient attacker, Urshifu VMAX is an accelerating energy, but it's getting a lot of bang for its buck because it's 330 HP. Things aren't one-shotting Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX unless they're hitting it for weakness. There's not a lot of things around right now that are hitting Rapid Strike Urshifu for weakness, so you can either clear like utility Pokemon with Rapid Flow to clean up your prize cards or to stunt your opponent's game plan. You can clean up knockouts with Rapid Flow. You can set up knockouts with Rapid Flow, or you can just swing in 150 active with Gale Thrust and you're typically not getting knocked out back. So then you can either switch into a different Pokemon next turn or leave the Urshifu out there to get knocked out, but do a Rapid Flow first. There's a lot of options. It adds some good depth to the deck. And like I said, you have a lot of security against Palkia. You have a lot of security against Arceus decks. You have security against basic focused decks. Now, the thing that you're going to struggle against here is going to be Mew VMAX. Your playing against Mew VMAX is Marnie, Path, and Prey. The Urshifu should probably not be hitting the board. Palkia VMAX, not great against Mew, but it could get some chip damage in there. Yeah, excuse me, it can get some damage in there if needed while being 310 HP, so it's going to be a little harder to knock out. But really, your plan against Mew is just going to be Arceus, Marnie, Path. You get to play Charon once. So that's like okay, but hoping that the path sticks, hoping that the Marnie sticks, hoping you can get a good Charon in there that gets you some value at some point. But Mew is going to be really tough for this variant of the deck, in my opinion. Mew is also going to be tough for this variant of Urshifu as well. So, if Mew is on the top of the list, Mew's what you want to beat, then this probably isn't what you're looking for. But if you're looking to counter a specific circle of decks, you know, the Arceus decks, the Palkia decks, the basic decks, this is covering a lot of things at once. And also, this is also just a video to kind of get the creative thinking going, because Urshifu's probably on a lot of people's minds right now that are into metagaming, that are looking at the lists that did well, they're looking at results, thinking about what to play to these events. Um, so maybe there's something in one of these lists that you hadn't thought of yet, but you thought of something different, and maybe you can combine them or work to take the best of both worlds, or maybe even just switch to one of these ideas and see how this goes for you. So today was just kind of, let's recap Urshifu VMAX. It's going to show up in some capacity, right? We just don't know how much or how little. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.